The problem is that in Dubai, and this is the same the world over, is that human trafficking victims are not treated as victims, they're treated as criminals.
Their stories are pretty much the same. Of course, they were tricked and they were deceived. They were told they were going to work in restaurants, they were told they were going to work in stores, but obviously when they got to Dubai, it wasn't anything close to what they were promised.
It becomes obvious that actually why you're there is to service men with sex. They're begging for food, they get 1 meal a day from the traffickers. And I said, well, do you need help? And she said, yes, I need help. I had no idea how I could help her.
I met a guy. He said there is a work in Dubai that I can do. He will connect me to the lady. She said she has a restaurant shop. I was very happy. I was very, very excited. I'll be sending money for my parents, for them to be okay and my little ones. So when I get to Dubai, the story really changed.
So the first girl that I met was on New Year's Eve 2019. We did a layover in Dubai for 2 days. We were staying in the Dera district, which is where a lot of these girls are held. By the cafe, there was a group of West African girls, and so I just walked down to the supermarket at the back, and a girl came charging down, running after me. She just put her hand on my arm, and I looked round, and she started asking me whether I'd like to go and have sex with her in the hotel, basically. And I said, no, I didn't. And I said, do you want to be here? And she said, no, I don't want to be here. It turned out that she'd been trafficked. She'd signed up to come to Dubai and she was going to make a lot of money. What I felt from her was that she had suppressed any emotion that she had around the subject of her present situation because she was utterly hopeless. I mean, in the situation she was in, I mean, what hope has she got of getting home? And I said, well, how are you going to get home? She said, I don't know. And I said, well, do you need help? And she said, yes, I need help. I said, well, I can help you. I had no idea how I could help her. The story was passed to me by one human being putting their arm on my arm. So that's a very human way of transmitting a story. So I believe that we need to touch human beings individually to get this story across.
I would say human trafficking is prevalent, not just in Nigeria, but across the West African corridor because of, obvious reasons.
The overwhelming thing for these girls that I brought back was poverty. Many children in impoverished circumstances.
Life was not easy. There were many challenges like a shortage of food, no water, no clothes to school, no shoes.
I had 7 siblings. My father couldn't provide.
At times we will buy credit. We keep surviving little by little.
We barely eat. We were just managing.
So that speaks to a motive of economic necessity.
Everyone wants a better life, and traffickers know that. So they pry on that thing called hope. It's very easy to convince someone to, leave everything they know behind and travel somewhere else because of that quest for a better life.
She said she has a restaurant shop at Dubai where I can work. She'll be paying me like 80,000. I will be sending money for my parents, for them to be okay and my little ones, for them to be fine.
And I told my sisters I'm going to Dubai and I'm going to get a better life. And all of you will be okay now.
She offered to pay my traveling expenses. It was a big opportunity for me.
Their stories are pretty much the same. Of course, they were tricked and they were deceived. They were told they were going to work in restaurants. They were told they were going to work in stores. But obviously, when they got to Dubai, it wasn't anything close to what they were promised.
She collected my passport from me. She collected my phone also. I did not have that access to call anybody in Nigeria.
The same day I just landed. That's when they took everything from me.
It was when I got to the apartment, they told me the reason why I came to Dubai.
This place does not look like a shop where they make hair.
She started insulting me, threatening me that I will use my body for money. I was like, that is not the agreement from Nigeria.
She got angry and said that you have to do it. Solomon come and beat me that day. So after that day, I had no choice but to start working for her.
If I don't work, if I don't go to bar, sleep with men and collect money from them, they'll kill me and even take me to Sahara Desert.
If we try to run away, they will bring us back and they will kill us, they will take us to desert.
I was crying every day. I don't have option. I started doing that. I started using my body for sex. I feel like to kill myself at that moment. I feel like to just drink something and die.
The day I failed to bring money back home, I will have to choose different kind of punishments.
They'll put chili pepper inside our private parts.
I sleep with different men every day. The person will carry you to the hotel and make sex with you till the next day.
Everyone was like, we're going to die in that apartment because it was hell. We hardly eat. They hardly give us food.
There was no way you can run, and there is nobody to help you. That nobody will know about what happened to us because our family don't know where we are right now.
2 months and 2 weeks without going outside.
The UAE has a population of around, I think, 10 million, of which 9 million are migrant workers. So I think when you've got 90% of the population of a country occupying a country on the basis of visas, of work visas, then that system is going to be rife for abuse and corruption. 74% of the labour, I think, is male. So there, obviously, you have an imbalance of the sexes. And you also have an opportunity for a sort of febrile market for the sexual exploitation of women. Free availability of these visas is where the problem really lies.
So it's very easy to get a visa into the UAE. You didn't have to appear before anyone, or you didn't have to make a case or show a bank statement or whatever. It was all you needed to do was get a travel agent who will facilitate a visa for you. Good, honest people will take advantage of that accessibility. Bad people will also take advantage of that.
Generally in Dubai, and particularly from Nigeria, the traffickers tend to be women, which I found very shocking that women would traffic each other. Victims are always recruited by people in positions of trust. So one of the girls was recruited through her pastor. One of the girls was recruited through a member of her congregation. So they have a vast network of people feeding into these madams.
I would say 95% of the cases we see, victims are trafficked by people they know.
So these girls are in Dubai. They're suffering enormously. The overriding feeling that I could sense from that was shame, because there's shame partly because of the obvious shame of the work that they'd been forced to do, but also the shame of failure. That if they'd set themselves out to be a cook and then they go out there and they were sexually exploited, and even if they were rescued and they then come home with no money in their pocket, and they may have earned thousands of dollars, for their traffickers, but to come home and have nothing to show for it is just, must be absolutely horrendous for them.
I didn't want to tell my mom. It was only my big sister who knew everything. I didn't tell the others, my stepbrothers and everybody. Nobody knows, only my big sister.
I believe that, a lot of those girls, for the rest of their lives, they sit in silence and they don't bring this up. And I think that, that shame is like a sort of corrosive thread that just destroys you from the inside. And it breaks my heart, really, that, that they should have to sit with that. This was one of us, and a human being, that was suffering here. Once I'd made that human connection with her, I really felt like that I had absolutely no choice but to, help this girl. I set up the Send Them Home campaign after I met this girl, the first girl in Dubai. I was determined to go back and find these girls. I knew exactly where they were, I knew where they were. Initially I tried to contact the Dubai police. They have a specialist hotline and a special human trafficking task force. And I thought this was going to be a situation where I'd just phone up the police or whatever and you know, the cavalry would come charging in. But I subsequently discovered that that wasn't the case. We decided that the best way would be to build a network on the ground, which we did. I built up an enormous network on the ground of Nigerians who were helping me, and it was a doorman at a hotel that eventually got me the number of one of the girls. He'd seen them and he got me the number. And eventually through that, I managed to make contact with some of the girls. And the people who helped me the most were fellow Nigerians, because obviously they were very concerned about their fellow countrymen. My next step was to contact NAPTIP.
NAPTIP was established in 2003 as the foremost anti-human trafficking law enforcement agency in Nigeria. 2018 to today, we've been able to rescue and repatriate 146 victims of human trafficking from the United Arab Emirates. And cumulatively, as an agency, NAPTIP has supported close to 22,000 victims of human trafficking.
The problem is that in Dubai, and this is the same the world over, is that human trafficking victims are not treated as victims, they're treated as criminals.
And in the police station, nobody cared. And they were just laughing, and they told me to go back and finish my bill.
Police will say, let's go and arrest all these Nigerian girls that they are doing prostitute, that they should go and arrest them, that they are coming to their country to spoil their names, that they don't want any blacks.
Victims of human trafficking need our empathy, they need our solidarity and not our judgment.
I'm particularly keen to look at the situation with regards to hotels, nightclubs, that type of thing. I mean, I've always slightly scratched my head as to why hotels would accept this going on, this business going on on their premises. Those hotels are advertising to families and business people. So why it should be acceptable to have sex work going on any hotel premises is beyond me. So I think there's a role for an independent body to inspect and kite mark hotel premises. As a result of my work on Send Them Home campaign, I realised that actually I should be dealing with the problem at source. There's not enough being done in terms of messaging to people around the dangers around human trafficking. Whilst young people know about human trafficking, they don't know how to report human trafficking, and they're not really clear of the methods that traffickers use to seduce people into making decisions that you know, in the cold light of day they probably wouldn't make. So for our pilot project in the north of Ghana, we've chosen to go with a 3-hour session in some junior high schools, which is a combination of classroom instruction and on their feet learning, acting out scenarios, human trafficking scenarios. The whole premise of Hope Education Project is that it is survivor-centric. So we include survivors in the creation of the program, and we include survivors in the delivery of the program as well.
Mr. Thomas and his Send Them Home organization has been instrumental in rescuing and repatriating a number of Nigerian girls. Mr. Thomas has done a fantastic job, and we are really grateful for his partnership with not just NAPTIP but with Nigeria.
When Mr. Angus Thomas came, I was so excited.
The man took me to immigration office. I didn't tell anyone that I was going to immigration office. I told them that I was going to meet a client. So immediately we finished with the visa. He then booked my flight immediately.
To my surprise, the agent had booked my flight for the following day to go back home.
After 3 months, for the very first time, I felt safe, I felt happy.
I was so happy that I was going home. I was so happy I was going to see my people, my family.
I served out for 4 years, 4 good years. 4 good years. I really suffered. So when my daddy saw me and my mom, you know, they're very happy. They hold me, they're glad that I'm back to Nigeria. They didn't even recognize me.
I feel that I owe them a lot because maybe without them, I'll still be there.
I really appreciate the organization, and their good work will never end.
One that is so easy and many people overlook is the power of, awareness creation. Use your voice, whatever platform you have.
If you want to get involved, how you can help is by spreading the message through sharing our social media content, or you can even make a donation to Send Them Home, which rescues and repatriates women back to West Africa, or you can donate to the Hope Education Project, which is running a pilot scheme in the northern Ghana at the moment, that we hope will produce the gold standard program so that we can roll out around West Africa.